And both poems are an acknowledgement of both American Black History Month and the upcoming Women's Month.
Yay, yay.
And both poems will be coming out of my third book, Stormwater, Poems, 2012 to 2016. And to assist me in this endeavor, I'm going to use the share screen function. That is, if Miss Ellie will let me.
Done.
All right, let me try.
Are we recording you? Yeah.
Yeah, I gave my consent in a direct message to Miss Ellie. The first poem happens to be one of those ekphrastic pieces, a poem inspired by a piece of artwork. From pages 15 and 16 in the book, this is called The Forbidden Act. An oil painting on a coffee shop wall in Sacramento told a compelling story, albeit innocent on the surface. Georgia, 1837. After a long day's work cleaning the landowner's mansion and waiting on his privileged family hand and foot, two Black slave women returned to their cabin at sundown, lit some candles, and engaged in an act illegal in all southern states. One slave woman of braided hair reached for a hard-covered book she smuggled from the mansion one day. The other slave woman with glasses and snow-white head shawl sat in a rocking chair, ready for her lesson. One slave woman led the tutorial. The other slave woman was led through two open book pages, lush garden paths of new words, new phrases, sentences, paragraphs that would throw the landowner, the overseer, and their way of life off balance if they were ever repeated aloud. New words, new phrases, sentences, paragraphs, signs of life outside the plantation. And the more the seated slave woman's eyes scanned the open book pages before her, the more those tight metal shackles began to unlock within her mind. And suddenly she was finally free. If only her work-worn body were to follow. By flickering candlelight, two Black slave women plotted their quiet escape from bondage, lifelong darkness, through the most forbidden act of reading. And that first poem was called The Forbidden Act, inspired by the painting Learn Me to Read by Akinsanya Kambon, a Long Beach, California-based painter. I couldn't find the original painting online anymore, so that black and white photograph from the 19th century was the closest thing to it. Might have even been inspired by that picture. And the last poem, and I'm going to use the share screen function one more time. Let me get this up and started. Let me pull this picture up for you real quick. Get ready for something offensive. The second poem is from pages 34 and 35 in Stormwater. This is called Rebel X. You wear your X and I'll wear mine, exclaimed a controversial t-shirt back in the Clinton years, a short open letter addressed to the Nubian race. Showcased a battle flag, the other red, white, and blue, flown in field skirmishes of an ancient war between split American states. The last Rhodesian in South Carolina, Dylan Storm Roof was his name, had his ex pledged allegiance to it lovingly before he opened fire on 9 Black people in a Charleston chapel. The spirit of Dynamite Bob worked through him that Sunday morning, signifying secondhand separation and hate passed off as honor and heritage, popular amongst Southern metalheads and gun freaks, and the Ku Klux Klan, the Rebel X. You got 2 more pictures coming. The Courage Award shouldn't go to an athlete, but a woman who, with both hands, scaled up a courthouse flagpole and removed from the top South Carolina's historic shame, emblem of oppression, keepsake of a lost cause, banner of racism, reminder of slavery. Her action indeed took courage in a state whose whiter populace would rather see its blacker half back in chains. General Lee Seal, Stars and Bars, the Southern Cross, the Rebel X. And that last poem was called Rebel X. And that poem is for and about this woman here. Meet Bree Newsom, the woman who took that valiant step and climbed up that courthouse flagpole in Columbia, South Carolina in the summer of 2015 and pulled down that Rebel X clean off the flagpole for the whole world to see. Tore down that historic symbol of white supremacy. It needed to come down, and she was the woman to do it. And those 2 poems came from my 3rd book, Stormwater, available from Poe Press. From this computer mic to yo ears, I'm DEE Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is a time to celebrate Black history. Every month is a time to celebrate the achievements of women.